Hey guys, and welcome back to Free Plugin Friday, where we look at free plugins you can use in your productions. Before we start, I would just like to say, if you like this video and like my other videos, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and hit that notification bell. So today, we're back in the analog obsession camp. Been looking at a lot of these recently, and we're looking at Esprit, which is a sampler filter preamp. I think this is based on the idea of classic samplers, models, the filter, and some preamp distortion, as well as a few cool little things. So let's just talk about the controls and dive straight into it. So this is the filter section. You have a frequency and a Q, very normal for a filter section. We also have attack and release and this mode. And what this mode is dynamics. And if you bring it all the way to D, you are in dynamic mode, which basically means the filter is controlled by an envelope. And that envelope has an attack and release time. And to take this even further, you have this sequence mode. So if you hit that on, this flashing light is a sequence and it follows your DAW's tempo. And then the release is more like a ratio control. And you can basically get different envelopes triggered off a sequence instead of triggered off the volume of what's going in. So that's really cool. Kind of trigger the filter that way, you can get some really interesting effects. Then you have the main tab, which is basically a mix and an output. The mix goes between basically direct sound, which includes the filter, but it doesn't emulate preamp distortion. And then all the way up here is the preamp kind of distortion. Now, I'm not sure if this is actually a gain control or a mix control. I'm not sure, but you get more distortion as you turn it up. And then the last thing is pitch. You can go up 12 or you can go down 12. So you basically have an octave up, octave down. This is kind of resampling. It does sound really dirty and old. It's not pristine pitch shifting. That is kind of the point. So we've got the same tune from last week. I put on the master bus so we can have a look at some of the features. We may put on some individual tracks to show what kind of cool stuff you can do. So let's just start off, have a look at the filter and the Q. So all the way up. Fairly smooth control. Pretty nice sounding filter, especially on the low end. Okay, so let's put it about here so we can have a look at the Q. And this gets really nice and resonant. I may just turn down the master here so I'm not clipping. So you can hear how resonant it gets. Let's just sweep through it. High resonance. Great for your kind of dance kind of filter sweeps there. Really, really cool. So let's put the filter about 12 o'clock, a little bit of Q, and have a look at this dynamic section. So as I bring the mode over to D, you can start here getting dynamic. And this light is pretty much the envelope. So let's bring the release back down. So we've got a fast release, fast attack. If we bring the frequency up, you're going to hear more. It's kind of like the center frequency for the envelope control filter. It's going a bit crazy because it's reacting to everything. Let's bring that attack up a little bit. It's pretty much following the kicks, like the 808 bass kicks kind of thing. So let's just put it on, say, let's just solo the loop and see what happens then, just this tops loop. So this doesn't trigger it close as much. It's a lot quieter, so it's triggering it a lot less. You can hear how you can get really interesting kind of sounds. Let's go have a look at putting it on just this instrument. So bypassed. It's already heavily filtered, kind of cool. Just adds a little bit of rhythm, a little bit of something interesting there. Bring the mode back a little bit. So you kind of understand what this envelope filter is doing, but how about with the sequence on? So let's put sequence on. We'll keep it on this for now. See how it's kind of uniform? Okay, let's put it on top loop so you can hear it there. So really, really fast sequence. And now slow. And what about on everything? Okay, so let's turn off the filter by basically putting on normal mode, not dynamic mode, and putting frequency all the way up, turn the Q down. And let's have a look at basically the sound of this preamp. Nice and crunchy. Does seem to distort more as the mix turns up, which makes me think it's more like a gain control, really. Rather than a wet dry, but I could be wrong. And what I want to try here is, let's just put it on this 808. Crisp it up a bit, and then use the filter. Turn sequence off. Maybe dynamics. Kind of some interesting sounds there. What about on the kick, just as a bit of a distortion? Bypassed. Adds a nice little thud. What about with a little filtering? You can really use the envelope to kind of change your kick tone. Okay, that's enough kind of looking at the filter and the kind of preamp side. Let's look at the pitch and then combine it again. So let's go back to this kind of interesting thing going on here. Let's go up in pitch. Sounds bad, right? But it's kind of meant to. A bit of filtering. Let's go down. Okay, so a lot of the reason there's a lot of artifacts is because it's based on old school resampling, and what's not really good at doing that is polyphonic things. There's a lot of chords going on there. So what about something monophonic? Now I've got some kind of words, I guess, vocals, whatever you want to call them, kind of hip hop style vocals.
I'm back at him, I'm back strong.
Like shout outs.
I'm back at him, I'm back strong.
What about pitching that?
I'm back at him, I'm back strong. I'm back at him, I'm back strong. I'm back at him, I'm back strong.
Bit of distortion.
I'm back at him, I'm back strong.
Bit of filtering.
I'm back at him, I'm back strong.
Off.
I'm back at him, I'm back strong. I'm back at him, I'm back strong.
What about pitching up? All the way up.
I'm back at him, I'm back strong.
very early 90s jungle. Maybe we won't go that high.
I'm back strong.
Artifacts are quite interesting.
I'm back strong.
Filter it a bit more.
I'm back at him, I'm back strong. I'm back at him, I'm back strong.
Again, doesn't work that well on polyphonic. So what I might do is let's transfer what we've got from the stereo out and put that on just that kind of vocally thing. Just for funsies.
I'm back at him, I'm back strong.
And let's put another SPre on this. Okay, so what about on the 808s? Maybe they're a little cleaner. So what I'm going to do is duplicate them and give them a higher tone. Super artifacty. Doesn't work so well, really. So yeah, the pitch is for when you want artifacts. You want it to sound kind of broken and digital in an 80s way. It's not for clean pitching, so let's forget that.
I'm back at him, I'm back strong. I'm back at him, I'm back.
Let's try it here. Maybe it's lower. It does sound like the pitching doesn't have anti-aliasing filters. If there's a filter, I wonder if there's no filter before the pitch algorithm. Maybe there could be that kind of included. But again, if you want something artifacty, it's such a broken 80s sound. Let's turn it off.
I'm back at him, I'm back strong. I'm back at him, I'm back strong. I'm back at him, I'm back strong.
So that has been SPre, sampler, filter, and preamp. I think the filter's really cool. I like the envelope. I like the sequence control. I like the distortion you get from the mix. The pitch, very particular sound. It's very limited in use. It would be cool to have maybe a separate pitch algorithm or some kind of pre-filtering for the pitch that made it work better, because it does sound like what happens when you resample pitch shift something with no aliasing filters, really low bit depth. That's probably what it's intended to do, but yeah, it sounds even cheaper and even nastier than most samplers I've heard. What could be really cool as well is instead of the static pitch shift, you have like a sample mode, but that is a very, very hard thing to build into an audio plugin, because you'd need to be able to actually store the audio, because then you're actually sampling at different speeds. So that's probably way out of the scope of something like this. Maybe a different sample plugin. There is things out there like Tal Sampler, which basically is a sampler that takes all the sampling synthesis techniques from various different 80s samplers, 80s and 90s samplers, which is, yeah, a very different plugin to this. It's more just like a cool audio effect. So go check it out. It isn't something you're going to need in every production, just a little bit of a cool effect. I do think it's the only kind of resonant filter that has an envelope out of anything from Analog Obsession. So if you're in the need for something like that, grab it. Again, being free, it's just something that's useful to have in your arsenal. As with all Analog Obsession plugins, you can donate to Patreon. There's donations, but you can still download most of the plugins for free regardless. But I don't know. They're good plugins, so if you want to donate for $5 a month because you use them, I think it's very, very worthwhile. So thanks for watching. Hope you've got something out of this review, and I will see you next time.